Well, as the defense in the Derek Chauvin murder trial prepares for closing arguments tomorrow, they're likely thinking about how to call attention to the early opinions of the Hennepin County medical examiner. AJ Legault is in the evidence room tonight to explain why.
Do you recall telling the Hennepin County Attorney's Office on May 26th?
Under cross-examination, Hennepin County medical examiner Dr. Andrew Baker was asked repeatedly about his early conversations with prosecutors.
Okay. Do you recall having a conversation with Hennepin County prosecutors about the significance of the toxicology findings?
I recall having the conversation. I don't recall the specifics of it.
Although Baker said he didn't remember details, evidence already introduced in pretrial motions document a number of statements that seem to undercut the prosecution theory that lack of oxygen caused George Floyd's death. Example, May 26, the day after Floyd's death, this memo summarizes what Dr. Baker first told prosecutors. His preliminary finding: no physical evidence suggesting that Floyd died of asphyxiation. The next day, May 27th, another memo by prosecutors, still preliminary, outlining 3 factors contributing to Floyd's death: coronary artery disease, stimulants, and exertion because of his struggle with officers. Again, no mention of trouble breathing. Then, on May 31st, this memo: toxicology results are back, and Baker reports it shows what would be a fatal level of fentanyl under normal circumstances. That would seem to support the defense theory about what caused Floyd's death.
Mr. Floyd's toxicology screen revealed the presence of fentanyl and methamphetamine.
Finally, this FBI report from July says Baker told agents he does not believe that the prone position was any more dangerous than other positions. That conflicts with the testimony of prosecution experts like Dr. Tobin and matches what a defense expert told the jury Wednesday about prone restraint research.
There really is no significant impairment of the individual's respiratory function.
The author of some of the research discussed in the trial on Wednesday, Dr. Mark Kroll from the U of M, previously told KARE 11 his work on prone restraint was, quote, minimal. You can see that reporting on KARE11.com in our story about the mixed messages officers have been getting around prone restraint. For KARE 11 Investigates, I'm AJ Legault in the evidence room.